rid of our cheap labor.
Yeah, that's not really what my argument was. My argument was that there's two worlds that we can live in. One where we have an amnesty program, which, by the way, you can pro-clutch about like cheap labor or whatever, but documenting these people would get around that, but I know you're not in favor of that either. So my argument is that we should have an easy pathway to citizenship. We should give some sort of probationary period for about 5 years, and anybody who wants to be a citizen in the United States should be able to be a citizen, right? Because that's kind of the American way. And I think that that is much more preferable to these kind of like authoritarian caveman swinging around a big stick kind of deportations.
Well, okay, let me ask you this then.
There's no evidence that the DOJ provided in the indictment that there was an agreement to do illegal activity from Don Lemon and the co-conspirators, right?
Why would people agree on camera that they're going to do something illegal?
What? Don't you need evidence to bring a charge for conspiracy?
Quite frankly, you need to subscribe to Rinnycast.
Hi, Bart.
Yo, it's Crack-a-lackin', he, him 40, American Caucasoid. Hey, you guys pro-choice or what?
Yes, bro.
Yo, why are you pro-choice? Slide over that argument. Toss over the weapon. I mean the argument.
Well, you see, the live isn't really about pro-choice versus pro-life. It's more so about like Donald Trump's effect on the
I
country.
mean, yeah,
so.
Trump's pro-life, and I think that's an important virtue to have. So why are you pro-choice? Why do you like unaliving babies in utero? Why are you a murderer?
Why do you take it to be the case that Donald Trump or Kamala Harris would have had an effect
Wait,
in this term
I'm
on
asking you,
abortion legislation?
I'm already explaining why pro-life is a better position. I'm asking you why you're pro-choice. Go ahead.
Well, you see, I'm not electing the president based off of like thoughts. I'm electing the president based off of.
To you why
well,
that's
I
an
think that's
important virtue.
irrational. I think you should be electing the. I think you should be electing the president based off of what legislation want to pass, and not based off of their personal beliefs.
You don't think that's irrational? What are you, a psychopath? You want to like unalive millions and millions of babies? Oh wow, that's not rational at all, right? Do you have any arguments to substantiate your view? You're just going to pile nonsense over and over again. Yeah, you actually explain the position, man. I'm actually waiting for an argument. Maybe you guys can explain why you're actually supporting the worst position known to mankind when you're unaliving millions and millions of babies. Maybe you want to justify like why you're a psychopath and a sociopath being locked up and put in a straitjacket and studied and mutated for ages and ages and ages. Hello? Can you hear me? Can I have the argument?
No, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
What's he barding?
Yeah, I'm asking why are you pro-choice? Why do you like unaliving and support unaliving babies?
Yeah, just take that to be a red herring, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead and explain the position.
Yeah, just I'm
waiting. Why you're unaliving millions of babies in utero
I already gave my claim.
Provide the argument. Why are you dodging? Why are you dodging? That's dodge number one.
Yeah, it's not a dodge. Not bite on a red herring.
That was a good guy.
Yeah,
that's a good guy, right?
That was fun. That was fun.
President 2045. Whoa, man, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hello.
I love your glasses.
You love my glasses? Listen, I love you. Love all my warm-blooded Americans.
You know that's special to Parker too, because that's the first time anyone said that.
That did mean a lot to me. Yeah, man. So, what'd you come up to talk about with me, man? Or with Rinnycast, I'm sorry.
Oh, with Rinnycast.
You haven't gotten to talk to anybody.
True. What do you want to talk about, buddy?
Cut the taxes. Let us have our money. Let us keep our money.
Cut the taxes. Let us have our money. Okay. Is that all?
What you think about that?
It depends on who we're cutting taxes for. I think that cutting taxes for lower income, middle class is probably fine.
Like for the basic worker, like.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Like minimum wage, the one like you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I agree with my girl Kamala Harris with that. Yeah, I think cutting taxes for the lower and middle class is probably good.
We need more people with money. We can't have everyone broke.
Yes, bro. True.
You know what? I got him. We got him. Don't even worry.
Yeah, I got him a true. Yeah, he's earned it.
I need a brave one now.
So why Donald Trump though? Like, why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
Nah, I didn't vote for Trump. But yo, God bless you guys. Take care.
Right. I love you, buddy.
Bro, we are doomed to goofy, bro.
We are doomed to goof off, bro.
Bro, this is stupid. What are we doing? Okay, let's Brendan.
I hope it's not Brendan Rose.
Brendan.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it
What
going?
talent, man?
Pardon me?
How's it going?
Oh, good. How about you?
Epic. I'm going epic. What do you want to talk about, buddy? Why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
Well, there's a couple key factors of why I voted for him. One, I believe in that we should have immigration laws in our country. One,
Mhm.
I do not think that what he's doing is I do think he's overstepping it a little too far with what he's doing. Yeah, every country should have their own immigration laws. Every country should be able to, decide whether they want immigrants into their country or not. But it's one of the key factors I've been seeing is that I do believe he is going a little too far with it. But nonetheless, I do support immigration laws. I just don't know if I can continue to support what he's doing now with
Sure.
all
So
his immigration laws.
let's just take it one at a time. We can talk about that.
Mhm.
So, the problem is that I think that a lot of people on the right like to oversimplify a lot of the ways that we talk about like border patrol, border enforcement, and everything. And not only that, but like to oversimplify what the opposition wants to do on the border as well. I've never seen a Democrat who opposes all immigration law or anything. I think the people who are making more brazen attacks against immigration law right now is the Trump administration, right? By refusing people right to counsel, by like violating people's withholding orders, by violating immigrant populations' due process rights, by violating different populations' Fourth Amendment rights, by doing all of this stuff. I think if anybody's violating the or look at like the $500 bar for asylum seeking, right? Like if anybody's violating our immigration laws, I think it's the Trump administration.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, and it's like, okay, like I said, every country should be able to have their own immigration laws. I think it's good that you make sure that you know who's coming into a country legally. You make sure you know who's coming in here who isn't gonna condemn harm.
Mhm.
And I do think that there's a way that we could that there's a way that we could tone it down a bit,
Mhm.
and there's a way that we can focus on um I don't know how to explain it, but we could focus on doing things more rationally instead of just like doing mass like deportations. And yeah, I like I said, I do agree with deportation, but it's been a common factor I've been seeing for the past couple months of what's been happening with Renee Good, Alex Preddy, stuff like that. And
Mhm.
it's like I would say it is alarming, and it's like people who I know who are Republicans are getting flamed for this. They're getting flamed for still supporting it afterwards, and it's
I think that's fair.
I don't know. It's just something that I wish the Trump administration can do better instead of the violent acts that they're doing.
Sure. So when I appreciate you saying all of this, does it reflect to the point to where like, do you think you would say that like you regret your vote, or like, do you think that Donald Trump isn't like doing well on immigration, or?
Well, it's confusing at sometimes. I do feel like sometimes that I regret my vote, and sometimes I do feel like I don't regret my vote. It's just been kind of circling around because sometimes oh, I'll think there's something good and then something else happens, and
Mhm.
it's like there can't just ever be it just can't ever be you know like normal, I guess is the word you would use.
Yeah, I get that. I think realistically, if we were looking for like any sort of return to normalcy, I think that
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
feel like Donald Trump was pretty explicitly running against that, right? Like whenever people vote for Donald Trump, it's as this kind of like mover shaker kind of like disruptor kind of thing to like disrupt the bureaucrats or whatever, disrupt the deep state or whatever. So like a return to normalcy, I think probably would have been more fit in terms of Kamala Harris, which, hey, I mean, like, I think that was a big incentive as to why people voted for Joe Biden after Donald Trump's first 4 years, was that they wanted to, go back to a time where they wouldn't have to wake up and see like the new fucking, tweet that's going to change the interaction of different politicians on a super important level. Like just having a president that's not going to be constantly egging on everybody kind of half-heartedly through a tweet is just good, right? Like it's good for the psyche of the American people. It's good for like the cohesion of the American people. It's good for the ability for like Congress people to work together. So I mean, like, I sympathize with what you're saying. It kind of seems like it kind of seems like realistically, it doesn't. I'm not even sure how much of a Trump supporter you are in this regard.
I would say that, like, you know, I still support him in some ways. I still support him in some ways. It's just like, you know, after voting for him and stuff like that, and like, you know, again, like, you know, politicians lie. They lie to you know, win elections and stuff like that. It happens everywhere, and he, you know, I guess seeing what he's been doing, saying, "Oh, we're not going to have any new wars. We're going to put Americans first," and yet he starts a war with Iran, and that's, you know, it's something that's been concerning me for a little bit. It's something that's been concerning me about regarding my vote, regarding whether I regret my vote or not. And again, like the return of normalcy is something that I wish the Trump administration would have done. Instead, it seems like where we are, like we're just causing havoc. We're just like, I don't know the word for it, but we're just trying to do as much as possible that is like unconstitutional in a way.
I agree. Hey, I agree. Listen, I mean, I don't think we have really much to, you know, argue over. I feel like what you're saying is probably fairly representative of a lot of the people who weren't as into politics who ended up voting for Donald Trump. I would just say, like, hey, in the future, just make sure you do your reading, make sure you get your information from non-biased sources and everything. Don't take anybody for their word. Make sure you look like an inch deeper into the topics that you think you know a lot about, because I promise you that once you start researching certain topics, you'll realize just how little you knew on everything. That's not even you. That's just, I mean, I'd say the same thing to myself, right? Like on new topics, even if I think I know something, you can always go an inch deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do that. I encourage you to vote for Democrats in the midterms and for the next president, but I mean, obviously you could probably disagree with that. I think that the Democrats are the better option. I think they historically have been the better option. I think they are a more unifying option, better legislatively, less cruel. But yeah.
All right, sounds good. Have a good night, man.
Yep, love you, buddy.
All right.
How cute.
Well, sweetheart. Yeah.
That made me happy. Good for that guy.
I'm happy that made you happy. If anybody disagrees, you guys come on up. If you guys do agree, send a like, send a follow Rinnycast.
Name 3 unbiased sources. I mean, like, unbiased sources are
Depends on what we're talking
difficult,
about.
bro. Yeah, like AP is generally good. Reuters is generally good. If you can go to like, if you go to like C-SPAN is generally pretty good, because you're just literally getting primary reporting material. You could look at like court filings is always pretty good. When I say unbiased sources, I more so mean like when you're being reported to by like CNN, Fox News, whoever, go to the underlying material. Don't just take the article's word for it. Go and read the initial document yourself, or something akin to that. My baby boy, what's going on, buddy?
What's
Oh,
up?
is it?
What's up, my gentlemen?
What's going on?
You know, I'm very proud of Parker with a hard R. You know,
With
I
hard R?
really, yeah. I think you handled that conversation very well.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So, I think that for some reason, we have a very feminine perspective of what's going on right now.
True.
We do.
And we didn't even vote in the women.
My estrogen is clouding my judgment pretty hard right
Well,
now.
Wait, are
True.
you talking about us or just like America?
When you warm up your pizza pockets, it's not supposed to be in the plastic bag, my guy. It'll
It's
help.
just that the estrogen is clouding. I don't even know what hand is left anymore because of all the estrogen I'm
Well,
taking.
Well, just get some strains. You get the other one, my guy.
Get some strange journal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get the
good.
strange. What do you think the estrogen is for, bud?
Well, yeah. Well, as long as you can't milk me, you know, I think we're going to be doing just fine.
I don't think anybody would ever get close enough to you to milk, buddy.
You're right. You're right. So what do we think? Are we like kicking ass, taking names? What are we doing here, boys?
We're debating Trump supporters, hopefully.
What is there to debate? The guy's a goat. Like, I mean, come on. Like seriously.
He might be as smart as a goat, potentially.
Is like do it for Dale over here, you know, with those beautiful glasses.
He is. This is true. He is like do it for Dale. That's true. Guilty.
Do it for goddamn Bill. Dale. Yeah. Be like Bill. Yes. Be like Bill and do it for Dale.
Yes, bro.
Big NASCAR guy right here. I do like NASCAR.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, we have to understand that, you know, feelings are okay, but you know, at the end of the day,
what are we doing, Kudlum?
No, well,
what are we doing?
I have a special something for you. Okay.
Barry has a script. That's what he has.
No, it's not a script. It's just, you know, good men have to do bad things in this world to keep evil at bay.
Is that how you feel?
You're talking like a fucking terrorist. Hoodlum.
Just Hoodlum.
Listen, I've only been
some shit somebody says after doing a terror attack. Hoodlum.
Hoodlum. It wouldn't be a bad thing if they were like minimizing harm, right?
Well, I mean, no boots on the ground, right? Unless boots. Yeah, no boots on the ground. We're not.
To be fair, I mean, the Kurds are kind of, but not American boots.
Not American boots, right? I mean,
not American boots.
They're rent-to-own boots made in what is it? Kakistan? What is it? Where are they from?
Kazakhstan.
Where are the Kurds?
I mean, that's a country. I don't know. Oh, the Kurds. The Kurds don't have a country. That's their biggest problem.
Well, you know what? I think they just found one. Come on in, boys.
Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro?
This like Persian region isn't necessarily Kurdish. There's like areas that are Kurdish, but but what are you here for?
Oh well, you know, I don't know what it is about you, Parker, but I feel like there's some kind of special connection here. I think.
Is that what you feel like, Hoodlum? Really?
Is that true? Oh,
yeah.
Hoodlum, I really hope that isn't true, buddy, because I don't want that. I don't want you to feel like that.
Can I give? I'm going to say something that you're not expecting. Are you ready?
Hoodlum, I want you to not like me.
Okay, I don't like you.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. So you just have a certain level of charisma about you.
I do. That's true.
Yeah. And I think that it's I'm going to tell you the truth in a certain way, in like a laughable way that pretty much says you're dumb as fuck. Right?
Okay.
And I'm going to do it with a smile with like some really like cool glasses. But like, you know what?
Bro, I'm third wheeling over here, dude. Bro. Holy shit.
I respect it. I respect it. I really do. It's like the nonchalant go fuck yourself.
Okay, buddy. Listen, you know what it feels like right now? It feels like Schmittler just gave me a compliment. That's what it feels like right now.
Dude, are you wiping tears? Is that what you're doing?
No, dude. I have like these, bro. I have these like hairs. I have like these like baby hairs that grow on my like cheeks, and like they like touch the glasses a little bit, and I hate it. It itches a little bit sometimes.
Well, you know how you solve that?
By shaving them.
Yeah, you fucking get the shaver out. Well, I know your mom bought you a shaver for Christmas.
Well, no, I use a razor. Okay, I don't use my electric razor. But anyways, I know you really want to get into my bathroom business. I get it. I'm handsome.
Fuck that. Bro.
But what are we? Hold on. Okay, you told me why you wanted to come. It's because you feel like you have a spiritual connection with me.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, dude. I really wouldn't.
That's just what you said, though.
There was a blinding light coming out from Parker's live, and Hoodlum knew he needed to come.
Listen, let's
more ways than one, huh, Hoodlum?
Let's stay in the masculine here for a minute. Like we're not going that far, dude. We're doing like locker room shit talk, like mechanic shop shit talk right now. That's the level that we're at right now.
But I don't want to be there. I want to talk about politics.
We can do that too. What do you think about Yasmin? What do you think about that?
She sounds pretty, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Yasmin Crockett? Or what's her name?
Oh. Yeah, what about it? Yeah, what about it?
Dude, she blamed the Republicans for her losing a Democrat primary.
Yeah, I didn't see her do that. To be
Trump did
fair,
that too, by
she
the way.
did.
I just have to be that guy. I'm so sorry. Trump said that the Republican primary was rigged towards Ted Cruz, by the way. I just want to be super like it is.
Yeah, before the results were in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's but
like what would she be alluding to? The fact that we gerrymandered her out of a seat? Is that what she'd be referring to?
No, she's probably no. I think she's talking about the Supreme Court shutting down the polls before 9 p.m. after they got extended to 9 p.m. I think that's probably what she's talking about. But I hadn't even seen her say that, to be fair, so I would have to look into it.
Well, I can tell you right now that I don't think that any of that could have happened to a better person. She was.
Well, if it helps, Barry McCockner said, "My friend Dildo said he knows you in real life." Does that help?
Does he? McCocker? Oh, McCocker. Yeah. I think I met him down at the sportsman's store down there.
Probably.
What did you think of what do you think about General Alden's plan going into Iran?
Oh boy.
What?
What do you think about General Alden's plan for these strikes in Iran?
Are you talking about Raisin Kane? I don't know. Are you talking about the one that gave the briefing, the sitcom?
Yeah, General. No, I'm talking about General Alden.
I don't know. I didn't hear what he said. What did he say?
Oh,
no, don't worry, man. That was good job, Hoodlum.
Good job, Hoodlum.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Hoodlum, that was really good, buddy. That's a fake person, Hoodlum, and you just like you're in bad
passed
faith.
the test, bro. You passed the test.
Oh my!
You didn't pretend like you knew it, bro. Oh my god.
Did I just pass my first purity test in my life?
Yes, bro. Yes,
you did. You did. That was your first ever purity test passed. It's actually wild.
Listen, I like to thank my parents for never.
Shut the fuck up. I have a question. I joined to watch debates. Why aren't you debating? Because Hoodlum doesn't want to debate me. He thinks that I'm like the GOAT, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I went, which means he agrees with everything that I say. So
you know what? I agree with your do it for Dale. I agree with your like I'm gonna tell you to go fuck off with a smile. I agree with it all. And you know what? When I see you, I'm gonna request and just know that it's for these lovely conversations that we have.
Okay.
And keep up the good work. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Just don't end up like that fucking guy. What's his name? Dean. Don't end up like Dean, okay?
Bro, Dean derangement syndrome, bro.
You got some potential, kid. You got some potential.
DBS.
Don't end up like him.
Bro, leave it for Dance Dance Revolution, bro.
Remember where you come from. Remember
I'm the shit. Listen, Hoodlum, I'm the shit. I get it. You don't have to tell me that I'm the shit, though, right? You know, I was more looking for like an adversarial conversation with you. That was like the goal.
You were being too much of a sweetheart, though.
I understand. I have that charisma about me myself, so
I don't know if I'd call it. I don't know if I'd call it charisma as much as I'd call it like a pathetic, like a pathetic like puppy dog that I don't want to fight. You know,
a little mid.
Hoodlum, you kind of came up to my live like groveling at my feet, saying I'm the GOAT. So
no, I said Donald Trump is the GOAT.
Yeah, but then I pressed you on it. You're like, you know what, man? You're right.
No, you're like the little minnow that has potential.
Okay, do you want to debate about why Donald Trump is not the GOAT?
Yes.
That's awesome, dude.
Awesome, bro.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think Donald Trump's the GOAT because of the actions that he's done to weaponize the Department of Justice or to take away people's rights, or his tariff policies. I think all these are like, also what he did on January 6th and the weeks leading up prior to it, I think are all disqualifying for him being the GOAT.
Sure. So I think that, when we look at like the laws of the INA and the jurisdiction that have been given by Congress, I don't think that it's any more than any other administration. I think it's all about the interpretation of the said law, like Mayorkas, for example, the much different interpretation of the INA than the Obama administration, for example. And so I would argue that like when you let this many people in stressing the system, that at some point in time the system is going to break. It leads to like bad outcomes when it comes to like home prices, when it comes to availability.
Okay, all right, stop. Okay. Mm-hmm. What am I referring to? when I like when I was talking about when I say like violating people's rights, I'm not necessarily talking about like anything. I'm talking about the instance in which I'm talking about is like the AAA, the Alien Enemies Act, and how it was violated to deport 200 some Venezuelans without their proper due process, right? And I think of it malicious and unacceptable.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I think that, hard times, need hard decisions. And I think that when you're looking for results, right? Like the country of origin of these individuals were not taking back their citizens. So, it puts, the administration in a really hard place.
What makes you say that? Wait, hold on. What makes you say that Venezuela didn't want to take them back? Because I vividly remember a prisoner. I vividly remember a prisoner swap with those exact same individuals.
No, so that's why they didn't go to Venezuela, because of Maduro saying that he wouldn't take them.
No, they went to El Salvador. Okay, and then I was there out El Salvador in the torture prison. We did a prisoner swap with Venezuela, and we sent their people there in exchange for prisoners.
I don't know what you're referring to. Are you talking about Garcia?
No, I'm talking about the JGG class. 253, I think, maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of Venezuelans who got deported to a torture prison in El Salvador, and then we later used them.
Mm-hmm. See, here's the problem. Like mistakes had been made. I'm going to grant you that, and just say, okay, fine. But when you look at like you don't get to now then say that you're next. Like that's not how that works. Like this is the argument of the left that I've heard for months now. It's like,
wait, no, can you explain that?
Bro, they're gonna come after you, and that's just factually incorrect. And so I would argue that just because you violated someone's rights doesn't mean that you're now going to be violating everyone's rights. And this is the issue that I think that has happened under a lot of administrations, including previous.
Okay, no, hold on.
Right,
we don't need to keep yapping.
right.
We don't need to keep yapping, hold on.
But I am making a point.
But like this isn't like a one isolated incident in which they violated people's rights. We can look at the James Comey case where like Dan Richmond got his Fourth Amendment right violated, or like James Comey himself, Lindsey Halligan told the grand jury that if he pleads the Fifth, it's because he's guilty. That's like that's illegal as fuck.
Well, I think that being that you're a young individual, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but like I'm 51, and what I can tell you is the government violates people's rights every motherfucking day.
Okay, so there's a level of maliciousness that matters here. Okay. And I'm saying that this Trump administration is uniquely malicious about the actions that they're doing. There's no instance in which you could point to the Biden administration or the Obama administration or even Trump 1.0. You don't even know what I'm about to say, what instance I would be looking for, by the way. No, you have no idea. I was going to say, like, of a prosecutor that was appointed to saying to a grand jury that if this person pleads the Fifth, it's because they're guilty. You couldn't point me to something like that.
Well, you can look at the Fisher versus the United States, and yes, you can.
Okay, is Fisher United States? Is that going to be your precedent? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, where the Biden administration, the DOJ, over prosecuted the J6 individuals to the point.
Okay, so that's not what I was talking about, right?
No, but
what I was specifically saying was you could not find anything of the level of looking dead in the eyes of a grand jury.
Let me finish.
You're just saying over prosecution.
But then they didn't. But then they had served time served, and they did not release them. The Biden administration was out of office, and still they weren't released. And so you have somebody that was overcharged and convicted, and then the case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they're like, yeah, this is a simple trespassing charge, time served, and they still had to sit in jail for like another 5 months before they were pardoned. Like this is the kind, but yet you're going to say that Donald Trump.
This is not this is not an instance in which I'm referring to, right? I was very clear about what I was talking about.
But Parker, it goes back to my statement that the government, it's not specific to any administration. The problem is everyone is hyper focused, right? Like fake outrage because of one reason, because it's Donald J. Trump. If it was anyone else, and I even mean a Republican, if it was like Joe Manchin, for example, and he was the president, like there wouldn't be this level of outrage. The only reason is because of who it is. That's it.
It's incorrect. It's because of how malicious it's been. Like there's no like ambiguity about Lindsay Halligan going. Thanks, buddy. There's no ambiguity about Lindsay Halligan going in front of a grand jury and saying if James Comey pleads the fifth, it's because he's guilty. There's no ambiguity about that. It was malicious. Okay.
Well, we do have him on tape.
Or on tape what?
Under oath, testifying in a congressional hearing. So, yeah, I don't think that would be an opportunity that you would claim the fifth.
You understand. Okay, one, you don't want to talk about the James Comey case with me.
Oh,
well,
shit.
You don't want to talk about the James Comey case.
Okay, I want to know what color is your dress that you're going to pivot on.
We can talk about the James Comey case if you want to be clear. But he still has the constitutional rights to plead the fifth. And when she told the grand jury otherwise, it's strictly malicious.
Is it pleading the fifth or the fifth? Which one is it? The fifth?
You thought that shit was funny?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. So listen, like I would say that we can find instances in all administrations, okay, going back as far as you want, on how the federal government, specifically the DOJ, violated somebody's rights. This is the reason why we have the Court of Claims, right? The 242.
I can grant that the DOJ or the justice system or the government has violated people's rights before. This is just going to be a factual reality. We're going to keep on coming back to the maliciousness of it.
Okay.
And I don't know how you can just like keep pivoting away from that. You're going to have to contend with the maliciousness at some point.
Okay, so do you think that the people that protest at AB clinics that were charged and convicted and are in jail should have the same type of justice for Don Lemon?
Should have the same type of justice for Don Lemon?
Yeah.
A journalist who's acting in his journalist capacity?
Well, let me just argue that the people that were protesting, they're journalists too.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. They were as much of journalists as the people who were already inside that church that Don Lemon went into, by the way.
That's an expression of their First Amendment.
I'm sorry, journalism is very specific journalism has very specific legal protections under the law. You understand this, right?
First Amendment expression is protesting, correct?
Yes, protesting is part of the First Amendment, yes. Okay. But you recognize like journalists have like specific, more extensive protections.
No. So the answer is you don't think that Don Lemon stepped on somebody expressing the ability to practice their religion?
Don Lemon showed up after the fact.
Did you say Dumb Lemon?
Don Lemon
I think
showed up. Okay. Regardless, we know who I'm talking about. Don Lemon showed up after the fact. Okay. But once again, we can bounce. He showed up after the fact, but we can bounce around all these cases. You still won't be able to show me the maliciousness of any other DOJ like this one. Like the maliciousness to violate people's rights, or not even just DOJ, this administration.
But here again, like you're showing your bias. Like you have like your flap on your little pajamas.
Wait, I'm just asking you to give me an example of someone being as malicious, an administration being as malicious. Yeah, go for it.
I already did.
You didn't.
No, we had people that were sitting down, right, as an expression of their First Amendment right to do so in an AB private property, and they were arrested and charged and convicted and put in jail, right? And then when Don Lemon does it, all of a sudden
you're going to have to, by the way.
It's not a new standard.
Don Lemon
literally the same law and the same code being used, by the way.
Different standards for different people, obviously, okay? Don Lemon is a journalist. He was acting in his journalistic capacity. These people who you're referring to, I would ask you to cite me a case specific. like Don Lemon was acting in his journalistic capacity, and saying otherwise, I think is malicious.
Is anyone above the law?
There's arguments that the president is, but I would like to say no.
Okay.
Not arguments.
So
no, there's
so then-
precedent to say that the president is.
so
I'm
then
sorry.
When we're looking at the DOJ prosecution, it should never be about who the person is. It's about what the person did. Unfortunately, you have a DOJ under the previous administration that was sympathetic to the AB movement or rights.
Cite me a case that you think was like bad.
Well, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that if you're going to apply the law, it needs to be across the board. And the
Of
issue,
course.
okay, then why is it not okay for Don Lemon to face the same consequences as these other individuals?
Don Lemon was acting. Do you understand? I've laid this out so many times. If you're not tracking the conversation, you can just say that,
No,
right?
I am. You're just being a hypocrite.
Okay, so what was I about to say, right? Because I'm just going to repeat myself for like the 5th time. What was I about to say?
That you're going to concede because I won this debate.
I haven't said that 5 times. I've already said it like 5 times. Can you tell me what I was going to say? He was acting in what?
Bad faith, like you right now.
That's literally you. The fact that you know exactly what I'm going to say and you can't even tell me what it was.
No, I don't. Listen,
You're
I don't
literally
wanna-
acting
I
in
don't-
bad faith right now.
No,
Like
no.
the reality is that he was acting in his journalistic capacity. Okay.
Okay, so wait a minute. You're telling me that just because he's a journalist, he can walk in and use his First Amendment right of being the journalist, right, and impede somebody from exercising their right in this country to practice their religion?
Yeah. What do you think he's being charged with?
The KKK. I don't know the code, but yeah, it's kind of ironic. Yeah.
KKK? Do you want to try that one again?
Yeah, it's the KKK law. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Buddy.
You should look it up.
What you really were meaning to say was 18 USC then something.
Yeah, I don't know the code on this one. I'm just going to be honest. But I know that it basically they created this law because of the Triple K, and it was because they were impeding people's rights, right? And so therefore, that's what this law is referencing, because they would go into churches, they would harass people at churches, they would burn churches, they would put burning crosses outside of churches, putting fear in people to go to church and exercise their right to religion and the freedom thereof. And so again, like, this is exactly what Don Lemon did. Like, I understand he's probably
How did he do that? How did he do that?
Well, the guy asked him to leave several times and he wouldn't, and then claimed that he had the free speech and the right to be there on private property.
He was documenting what was happening inside the church.
That's not a
Do you understand that?
justification. That's not a justification.
It literally is. He's a journalist.
Did he go inside?
That's literally, yes.
No,
he was documenting what the.
Did he leave when he was asked to leave?
No, he didn't have to.
There you go. So again,
he doesn't have to. He's a journalist.
Oh, he doesn't have to leave.
He was documenting the event.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
If the police asked him to leave, he would have had to have left.
Listen, is the church public property or private property?
I believe it's private property.
Okay, so do you have the right to stay on private property when you're not welcome?
No, but that would be done by the police. The police would be the ones to remove you. Now, if you want to charge him with trespassing, because that's not what you've been alleging.
Well, yeah, because they brought a protest that he participated in.
He didn't participate. He was documenting it. He's a journalist. Hoodlum. Yes, he was the one recording it. Because he's a journalist. Hoodlum.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Hoodlum. Buddy, what are you not tracking here? He's a journalist. He has the right to go and document a protest.
Okay, so you're documenting a crime that then when you're asked to leave, you don't leave. Like, yes. You're part of that crime, sir.
Okay, so when they charged him with USC 241, okay, conspiracy against rights.
Yeah.
Do you think that's valid?
Oh, 100%.
What?
And this law was
because you just said that they should charge him with trespassing. You think conspiracy against rights is the proper justification now? Because I just walked you down the path where, like, you have to understand at some point he was recording the protest. At some point, you're gonna have to recognize that.
Listen, you do realize that I have the right in this country to swing at you. The where my rights end is where, like, my hand hits your face. Then it's a crime, right? So when they went in there, if they wanted to just go in there and sit down and, like, have a sign or something, okay. And then at that point they would be asked to leave, but that's not what happened. They went in there and caused the people in that church to be afraid to the point where they left, and they denied those people from exercising their right to worship their religion of choice.
You're just missing it here, buddy. You have to understand, he was a documenter right there. He was a journalist. You charge everybody else that was participating in that. You should not. One, you shouldn't. Two, you cannot. He will be found not guilty. Charge a journalist for documenting the events of the day.
So do you think that
he does have protections? And hold on, if you can't get that through your head, then we can. At some point, you're just gonna have to say. At some point, hold on, you're just gonna hold on. At some point, you're just gonna have to go. We'll just wait and see until the trial's over, because you're not even listening to the arguments.
No, listen. Do you think that your First Amendment rights have no consequences?
My First Amendment rights have no consequences? What type are you saying? Like, are you saying the government should be able to punish me for my speech? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, what I'm saying is there's a line. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, in certain states, in certain states, like, white people can't walk up to a black person and call them the N-word. Okay, in certain states, that'd be disorderly conduct in certain states, like New York. But in this instance, yeah. So how do you think
somebody else's rights? Deprivation of rights is a big deal.
How do you think Don Lemon did that?
Well, when he was interviewing the pastor, and the pastor said, "Hey, we would like to exercise our right to have a sermon," and asked him to leave. And he said, "I have," in his words, and I will quote him, "I have a First Amendment right to be here."
Correct, because he's a journalist.
Yeah,
he was documenting the event.
The pastor said, "We would like to have our sermon, and we don't want you here."
You just don't understand the law. If you can't understand that journalists had a right to be there to document the occasion.
Just admit that you've been cooked, okay? You've been cooked. I understand.
It's the Rob North thing where, like, it's like the Rob North thing where you just say that you won no matter what.
Yeah, because so they have to know when to believe that I'm cooked, right? You have to tell the people that you cooked them, right? Because no one else would know otherwise.
You're using Davo right now.
You haven't even contended with the fact that he's a journalist. You haven't even contended with that fact, and it's the most important part of his case, is that he was a journalist.
So if I say I'm an independent journalist, does that mean that I can go into any church I want and disrupt the services and cause people to leave?
What was he there to do? He was there to document what? He wasn't just there to interrupt the service. He was there to document the people that did.
I don't think that intent is required. It's actions.
No,
for journalists, and especially in this case,
ignorance of the law.
Of course, this is on you. It's your ignorance, Hotham. No. He's a journalist. He was allowed to document what was happening there.
You know what's crazy?
He wasn't doing the protest, Hoodlum. Those people were doing the protest, and he was there recording them.
So why didn't he interview them instead of the pastor?
Didn't the pastor walk up to him?
Yeah, to tell him that they're trying to.
That's why he interviewed the pastor, because the pastor was most accessible, obviously.
Wow. You know, son, Parker, young lad.
Let's see Hoodlum dig himself out of this one, bro. Holy.
Listen, I'm going to tell you that your bias is so bad that you can't even see the light through the trees at this point.
Hoodlum, when that's kind of the goal of the classes. But Hoodlum, when Don Lemon gets found not guilty, what are you going to do for me?
I'm going to come back and give you a galaxy, and I'm probably gonna probably give you a new pair of glasses because those one look pretty tired.
They are pretty tired. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, boy.
The face act literally says intentionally, by the way. I was being triggered that whole conversation. I hope 1910 Democrat is still in the request box because he was saying some stuff that I don't think is true. But that's okay.
All right. Go for it.
What's up,
Yeah,
buddy?
you guys need all the age verification and shit.
Nah, you're good,
You're
buddy.
good, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the problem Don Lemon's going to run into. And I do also think the charges will be dropped because he's never been in trouble before. He's not a danger to anybody else or society or himself or whatever. But he did a video meeting up with those protesters before the event, which was totally stupid.
Why does that matter?
What got him in trouble.
That's the real question is like, why does that matter?
Because that's conspiracy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. How's it not conspiracy?
You would
He
have to
rode
prove
with
that it
them
is
there.
conspiracy.
He
So
rode with them there.
the idea is that you'd have to agree with the people organizing it to commit a crime. There's no evidence of
Watch
Don
the
Lemon doing so.
video.
I did watch the
Watch
video.
the video.
I did watch the video. There's no evidence of Don Lemon agreeing to commit a crime with those conspirators. Do you agree?
Yeah, but he knew they were going to
Yeah.
commit
Wait.
a
Okay.
crime.
So yeah. So you need to agree to do imminent lawless action in order for it to be a conspiracy, right?
He conspired with them.
Non-answer. You have to agree
You're
to do
denying
illegal
people their
activity in
right.
order to conspire, right?
I'm not sure what penal code you're talking
This is just the
about.
basic definition of conspiracy. A conspiracy is taking a step, like an agreement to take a step to do illegal activity. Don Lemon never agreed to do any illegal activity with these organizers. He literally just recorded them doing so. He never took a step towards illegal
He
activity.
didn't record anybody. He didn't have a camera.
He had a cameraman. Let's lock in.
Correct.
I know you know
So
that too. That's a semantic difference. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, but semantics matter in politics and legality.
It literally doesn't. Him having a cameraman does not change the fact of whether or not he agreed to do a conspiracy. You agree, and by the way, you already agreed that he didn't agree to take a step to do an illegal action. So you agree that there's no conspiracy here, right?
I didn't say he didn't do anything illegal.
That's not what I. So you agree that he never agreed with the people to do
And here's
illegal
the
activity,
thing,
right? No, and here's the
right?
thing's not an answer to that. You agree that he never agreed to do illegal activity with these people, right?
No, I'm not agreeing to that.
Okay, where's the evidence that he did?
On the play the video.
The whole
Of him. There's
fucking
two of them
4-hour
before it.
video?
No, it's not. They're just a few minutes long. There's two of them. There's one where he's
Hang on,
standing
do I
by
need
himself
this?
talking, and there's another one
What did he
when
say?
he goes and meets up with the women and he gives them kisses on the cheek.
Yeah, that's not an agreement to do illegal activity.
Was that kiss on the cheek like him going? Yeah, he goes for the kiss. We'll do illegal activity.
Yeah,
Was that?
must have
Is that
been.
what he did?
Yeah, and this. Well, we're just gonna have to agree
Yes.
to disagree on that.
Well, no.
Okay,
It's
but
not
the
as simple
thing
as an
is,
agree to
though-
disagree. It's I agree that you have no evidence of this, right? And the DOJ presented no evidence of it in the indictment, right?
I'm pretty sure the DOJ showed those videos.
Videos of what? Him agreeing to do illegal activity?
The ones of him meeting up with the people.
Meeting
prior
up with the
to
people is not conspiracy.
Well, obviously it is. I mean, obviously it is. He got charged. A grand jury just said he was. And here's
No.
another.
What's the? Why do you think a grand jury indicts somebody?
The grand jury debates. Grand jury's basically there's 50. You know, there's enough evidence to try them.
There's enough
on
evidence to
on the
try
charge.
them. It's not saying that they're guilty, right? So there may be enough
Yeah, I
evidence to
understand
try
that.
somebody. There's no evidence that the DOJ provided in the indictment that there was an agreement to do illegal activity from Don Lemon and the co-conspirators, right?
Why would people agree on camera that they're going to do something illegal?
What? Don't you need evidence to bring a charge for conspiracy?
The act is the evidence.
The act is not the evidence. You need an agreement for a conspiracy. That's the point of a conspiracy. No, an act is not an agreement. He did not agree
Okay.
with these people. He did not agree with these people to commit illegal activity. That's what you need for a conspiracy.
Okay. Well,
There was no evidence of that given. It doesn't even necessarily need to be on camera. They
that-
could find text messages or something. They presented no evidence of that.
You could say also that he is, when they asked him to leave, and he didn't leave.
Hold on. Are you dropping the idea that this is a conspiracy?
No, I'm not.
Then why are you moving on?
Because we're just gonna agree.
Because you can't argue your position.
Well, on top of that, just by the way,
conspiring to go to that church.
Just by the way, we also know that Don Lemon met with them on the 18th, and on the 17th, Armstrong was posting flyers about Operation Pull Up, and prior to that, the indictment establishes that the people coordinated for a conspiracy, but never says Don Lemon was involved in that, right? Don Lemon was only involved at the meeting, right? They never made any allegation that he was, conspiring to corroborate the Operation Pull Up, right? You acknowledge that?
Did he know? Did he know what they were going to do?
That doesn't matter. Knowing about it doesn't matter. He has no obligation to report.
That's conspiracy.
That's not conspiracy. You literally don't know what it means. I just want to know, why were you poising yourself as some sort of expert in the chat when you know fuck all about anything about this case?
Yeah, I disagree with that assessment.
Okay. What is a criminal conspiracy?
A criminal conspiracy, you can be charged with conspiracy for multiple things.
What? Thanks, Einstein. What do you? What is?
You know what? He gets a true for that one.
What is counted as a criminal conspiracy? What do you need to prove a criminal conspiracy?
Say you and the host are plotting on going to rob a bank. And I know about it, and I don't notify law enforcement. That could be conspiracy. Me helping you plan.
By what fucking metric? This is why I'm asking you to define what a criminal conspiracy is.
Is involvement in the planning or execution.
Involvement in the planning. So if I'm involved in the planning, then that's a criminal conspiracy. If I'm aware that somebody is planning, that's not involvement in the planning.
Play the videos, I dare you. Play the videos.
You're making the clip. Show any evidence. Give me a quote. What's the evidence that the DOJ gave?
Play the videos.
What is the evidence that the DOJ? I have the indictment in front of me. Tell me.
Put the
I can
indictment
control.
in the big box.
I'll control F anything that you want right now. Tell me what to look up in the indictment.
Don't control F anything. Just put the indictment in the big box.
Are we going to look through all 14 pages together right now? The answer is no. I'm not going to allow that. So, what do you want me to look for in the indictment?
Just bring up the indictment.
I have it. What do you want in it?
Put it in the big box.
No. We're not about to read all 14 pages of
course you
we're
won't.
No.
Bro, you don't even know what a conspiracy charge is. Why would I read through a fucking criminal indictment with you?
I'm not going to read 14 pages with you when you don't even know what a conspiracy is.
If you knew, you would be able to give me the quote, right?
Journalist gives you access to private property. It doesn't.
That's not what Parker said, by the way. You just weren't listening.
That's not what he said. That's not what I said.
Yes, you did. You said he could be there because he was a journalist.
Why? Why did I say that?
I don't know, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Because parallel behavior is not enough to prove a conspiracy. If somebody is there with journalistic intent, that doesn't mean he's engaging in a conspiracy to break the law. It means he's there to document the illegal activity.
Yeah, that's still nothing you say.
Have you ever seen wait, do you know what Vice is? Have you ever seen Vice, the kind of news thingy?
Yeah, it's all right. They do some good feature pieces.
They do some good shit. I feel like I've seen videos of them hanging out with the cartel, documenting what the cartel is doing. Should we charge them with anything? They're there with the cartel while the cartel is doing these illegal actions.
We don't have jurisdiction in those countries.
No, let's say they're doing it inside of Utah. Yeah, let's say they're doing it in Utah. They're recording a Utah cartel, and they're recording them doing illegal activity. Should we charge those journalists?
Oh my
God. The name of the cartel?
Wait, I completely forgot. Wait, wasn't the church open service?
That doesn't matter.
Wasn't it public service?
If they ask them to leave, they have to leave.
Wait, so he had a valid reason to be there, right?
Wait, he's not gonna be able to. But yeah, I need you to answer that one. That was a crazy stun lock. I'm sorry, Rinnycast. I messed up the clip. 1910.
So if we're not gonna bring up the indictment, then we're moving on.
Okay. Okay,
I wanna
because
talk about
you can't answer that.
maliciousness.
1910,
I wanna talk
1910,
about
you 1910. Stop talking. You couldn't answer that question. I get it, man. Do you think that we should charge a journalist who's hanging out with the cartel in Utah with a prolific cartel gang? They're hanging out with him while the cartel's doing illegal activity, and they're just doing that, and they're documenting what the cartel's doing.
I don't do hypotheticals. I'm not a 22-year-old liberal.
Bro, true. I don't deal with hypothetics, Parker. You should have known.
What if I said this actually happened?
I would like to watch it.
Okay, so in the video, because I don't have time to show you the video, there's a video of this like white guy, black cameraman. Okay, don't know how I know that. And there was like 13 members of a cartel.
Like? Why does it matter?
I'm painting the picture for you. Okay, and there was like 13 cartel members tatted all up. Okay, most of them were wearing masks and glasses, but you could tell they were tatted up. Okay, you could see a little glimpse of like their cheeks, and it's like full fucking tats. Okay, and they're like making meth. Should the journalists be charged because the guys are making meth and selling meth? Wow, but the journalists are there documenting it?
Was the meth fire? Did you get any feedback from users?
That's funny. You're just a nothing burger, buddy. You pretend like you knew some shit. You knew nothing.
Dude,
right?
I debate the biggest political debaters on this app.
Bro, if you lost to us, imagine how fucking shredded you get by all of them, bro.
Holy shit, man.
I don't even know much about Don Lemon. You just don't know anything about these charges, and you were acting like a fucking expert. If I could shred you on Don Lemon knowing nothing, imagine what these bigger dudes do to you, bro. Are you a masochist?
Wait, okay. I can do that. Okay, I can put this 14-page document in the big box, but what do you want to see in it?
Let's start reading it, and let's see what the way you guys are depicting it is what is actually in that.
Wait, have you never even seen the indictment?
Yes, I've seen it. I said in Millie's Live when they went through that whole thing for 4 hours.
You know, Millie's like
shocker.
Millie's famous for just like making up the law.
Yeah, Millie's famous for making like $250,000 a year on this app.
Millie is famous for lying about her legal expertise.
Billy doesn't claim any legal expertise.
I have a couple videos proving otherwise. I
just don't know. Like, why are we fucking appealing to Millie, bro? She's fucking stupid. She wants to overturn fucking the judicial review. Marbury v. Madison. I don't know why we're appealing to this fucking bad word.
No,
bad
you
word.
asked, have I seen it? And I said yes. I watched it that day when they went.
You've read it. Wait, hold on. Okay. You've read it. So, where did Don Lemon agree to engage in a conspiracy?
In the videos.
What did he say? Because what's very convenient about the indictment is that they don't just say, watch the videos, Judge. They give quotes, right? They'll give quotes about what was said in the video, right? What was said in the video that Don Lemon agreed to in a conspiratorial fashion. What's the conspiracy that he helped plan?
They don't give all what they present to the grand jury. It's not all the evidence.
One piece of evidence. One piece.
Yeah, we didn't say it's all. Yeah,
one piece.
Give us something.
Something
to work with.
What is it called when the evidence is exchanged between the two, the prosecution and the defense? You know what that's called?
That was a really, really weird piece of evidence. When did Don Lemon say that?
Yeah.
That's called motion for discovery. That's what we'll get. That's what all the evidence will cover.
So what's one piece? What's one piece of evidence?
For any of it.
What's one piece of evidence presented in the indictment?
Those videos are definitely going to be in the discovery.
Give me a quote, bro. If you read the indictment, you should be able to give me a quote.
All the evidence doesn't have to be in the indictment.
Bro,
the indictment
give me one piece of evidence. One single piece of evidence. I don't need all of the evidence. I need one piece of evidence.
Put it in the big box.
I would love to. Tell me where to find it. What's the quote?
It was enough evidence in there. The
Dude, okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm good.
The damning thing for him would be, it's going to be those videos. But like I said, I think it gets dropped. I think
If it's so damning and you still think it's going to get dropped because he's been a good boy all the other parts of his life, really engaging in conspiracy against rights, but it's going to get dropped because he's been a good guy, it's bullshit. Conspiracy against rights is a very serious charge.
By the way, I actually read the indictment, by the way. It's just nothing. There's just nothing, right? You would be able to point me to anything. And this is the guy who was like, oh my God, he was help planning it. He was help planning it. He was help planning it.
And he just didn't have anything for that.
Nothing, bro. Nothing. I was at least hoping to have something to engage with. Nothing, bro.
Comparing him to iconic black men, bro.
Why do you want to get rid of the illegals? Why do you want mass deportations, buddy?
Yeah, they don't belong here. Kick them out. Send them back to Mexico or
do you
wherever.
think it's do you think that's like better for the country?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Because they don't assimilate.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I've seen it firsthand.
What groups don't assimilate?
The damn Mexicans.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
No, I'm actually 100% serious, by the way.
Do you understand that do you understand that in less nationalist countries the social trust problem goes down? You understand
that? Name the countries.
There's just a study done on it.
Yeah, but can you name like a specific country?
I can look it up for you.
Yeah, just tell me a specific country because I guarantee you they're gonna have a big racial homogeneity.
Homogeneity. If that was the case,
homogeneity.
If that was the case,
like you're gonna talk about Scandinavia, bro. Like, duh, it's all white people.
If that was the case, then why would the social trust for immigrants change? Wouldn't that if it was a more racially homogenous country and brown people came into it, wouldn't you expect social trust to go down more than America?
What do you mean?
I don't know, man.
I'm sorry, rephrase that because I don't understand if you're talking about. Are you talking about America or are you talking about like Sweden right now?
I'm saying if you're saying I can look at the study specifically if you want details, but I'm saying if you're saying that it's because they're racially homogenous, wouldn't you expect the opposite outcome?
What's that? You were talking about nationalism.
Okay. Having tried.
Your study wasn't talking about racial like homogeny. It was talking about nationalism.
Well, I was talking about I was talking about the social trust when there's less nationalist like attitudes toward.
Yeah. That's
and then you brought up racial homogeneity.
Yeah.
What?
Social trust is there. Yeah, social trust is very closely tied to racial homogen. I can't fucking say that word, dude.
Right, but you were trying to discredit the study that I was talking about, saying that
no. Feel free to bring up the study. I bet you that study's correct. Or I'm sure you have. You're not just making up a study. I'm sure you have a study.
To be fair, little fun fact here: 20% of Sweden is immigrant.
Yeah, and that happened in like the last 15 years, last 10 years.
In countries that are more accommodating to immigrants, the negative effects of immigration on trust and engagement are mitigated or even reversed. In more economically equal societies and in more multicultural countries where cultural minorities are recognized and accommodated, the negative effects of immigration on trust and engagement are mitigated or even reversed. We conclude that there is no general link. It's called Does Immigration Erode Social Capital? The conditional effects... it's coming from Cambridge. The conditional effects of immigration generated diversity on trust, membership, and participation across 19 countries, 1981 to 2000.
Okay, so it's like
They concluded that there is no general link between immigration-generated diversity and collective mindedness. Rather, the direction and strength of relationship depend on the institutional and policy context.
Okay, I mean, I'd have to look at the study, so I could look at it. I could Google it, but yeah, I'm sure there's. It all depends on like how are they measuring societal trust, right? Like, how do you measure that?
Well, I mean, you're citing a lack of like social cohesion. The only way that you could really measure that is like social trust, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at crime rates too. I think that's a big part of it.
Well, I mean, if we were looking at crime rates, we would kind of see that, legal immigrants,
crime went up in
first generation immigrants.
Yeah.
Well, you could also look at the fact that first generation immigrants and illegal immigrants in the United States commit less crime than the native born citizens, right?
I would actually argue that illegal immigrants commit significantly more crime than native born people.
What's the argument for that? Where's your source for that?
Well, let's see. It's pretty much in the name, illegal immigrant.
Sure, we're talking about violent crime. We're talking about violent crime.
Oh,
right?
Now it's violent crime.
Well, I think we were kind of understanding that.
Is violent crime the only crime that matters?
I think in terms of like breaking immigration law, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think that like speaks to the value of an immigrant population.
So, okay, so you have no issue with criminals coming here as long as they're not violent criminals.
I think that all crime isn't made the same, and I think you agree, right? Like if you were saying that all these criminals are coming here, but they're like jaywalkers, right? I probably wouldn't care that much. No.
Well, yeah. Obviously, you know, some crimes are worse than other crimes, but I don't think. I think if we want to let people into America, because that's obviously, you know, we have control, or we ideally should have control over our border, right? And we should be able, by virtue of being a nation, we should be allowed to select who comes into our country. I think that's one of like the core, you know, fundamental things of being a country is that you have control over your border.
Sure.
But we should be picking who comes into our country, and I think we should be picking people who are actually, you know, like doctors and scientists and like geniuses, and not just the people who go and, you know, I don't know, build houses or, you know, do menial work and construction and pick fruit and work in factories and stuff. And I'm not saying that people who do those jobs aren't great. They're not great people. But by importing all the cheap labor, what we're doing is effectively driving down the price of that labor, pricing them out of America.
Sure. So there's 3 points that I want to make here. So the first of which is that it seems kind of weird to right now try and like kneecap the market for building new housing by reducing the amount of construction workers that we have, when right now it seems like the amount of housing that we have is not adequate, right? Like housing prices are pretty uncomfortable for a lot of Americans. So I don't know why we would try and undercut the ability for the United States to build new housing. That's the first one. The second one is we're kind of doing this thing where we're comparing a practical reality versus a utopian reality, right? So it's not the case that it's either we control the border and we only get the people that we want and that's it, or we have open borders, right? Like that's just kind of not how that's not either of our realistic applications. The real dichotomy that I think we should draw is mass deportations versus like an amnesty program, right? But the idea is that mass deportations are incredibly harmful to the economy. They're incredibly harmful to the social trust, because certainly having like ICE raids going through cities is not going to lead toward people being, you know, trustful of their neighbors, being trustful of their communities. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of division right now between Republicans and Democrats. And it's just not conducive to, you know, maximally enforcing people's rights. We're seeing in furtherance of these mass deportations, a lot of violations of rights. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is that while I am sympathetic to the idea that, you know, high skilled labor is also cool to import, just out of curiosity, are you pro the H-1B program?
No. Well, I mean, I forgot what the other visa is for actual like geniuses. I forgot what it's called. It's not H-1B. There's a separate visa. I could look it up if you don't believe me. But there is a separate visa for like actual like geniuses, I guess you could call it. I forgot the exact name of it. But no, I'm not pro H-1B. That's terrible. Like a few of my buddies lost their job.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
But kind of, can I respond to what you said? Because the housing one is an interesting one.
Sure.
And I kind of see your point, right? Is that, you know, if we deport all the people building the houses, then obviously housing prices are going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
There's another kind of side to that too, is that all the people coming here, right? Obviously, more people in a housing market drives the price of houses up, right? So that's part of it. But the other part too is like, I don't understand your argument, because you're literally just arguing on the side of corporations. You're arguing on the side of big business that this is well, let me finish. You're saying that it's good that the housing prices are cheaper because we're importing cheap labor, and that's good. Like it's such a weird flip. It's such a weird kind of mental gymnastics that you guys do, because mass immigration is supported, like that is like supported by all the like the $1 billion companies. Like they all want cheap labor.
So
you don't think Elon Musk wants cheap labor? You don't think
are we really just gonna?
That's okay.
Yeah, right now we're just
want cheap labor. I think that's bad, because I think it's bad for Americans.
We're just kind of pro-clutching right now. Like the idea that it's bad for Americans to have a more robust construction. Like how is that bad for Americans?
It's not necessarily more robust. It's cheaper construction. It's cheaper labor, is what you're arguing for.
Cheaper labor will result in cheaper housing. No, like a wider labor force of construction workers is going to lead to more supply of housing, right?
You can argue that, right? But
how does that not like logically follow?
In a utopia, yeah, that would. But
no, not in a utopia. In practice, we're talking about in practice.
Hear me out. What? Okay, in practice, in reality, what sets the prices of a house? Is it what it costs to build the house, or is it what the market is willing to pay for the house?
It's what the market is willing to pay for the house.
Exactly, right? So if the cost of labor goes up, but the market isn't willing to adjust to that, right? The market can't adjust to that. The prices aren't going to go up because no one's going to buy them at those prices. So it's like your argument kind of falls apart because one, you're pretty much just saying it's hilarious when you break it down, and this is obviously like an obfuscation.
There's a third step to that where we just stop building houses. There's a third step, and that's the step we're already at right now.
Okay, so the cheap labor isn't helping then, but you're literally saying
we're
that
not
you're saying okay.
enough.
Can I just want to finish my point. You're saying that mass immigration is good because it provides us with cheap labor. Like that is what it fundamentally breaks down to. Saying mass deportations is bad because it hurts the economy because it gets rid of our cheap labor.
Yeah, that's not really what my argument was. My argument was that there's two worlds that we can live in. One where we have an amnesty program, which, by the way, you can pro-clutch about like cheap labor or whatever, but documenting these people would get around that. But I know you're not in favor of that either. So my argument is that we should have an easy pathway to citizenship. We should give some sort of probationary period for about 5 years, and anybody who wants to be a citizen in the United States should be able to be a citizen, right? Because that's kind of the American way. And I think that that is much more preferable to these kind of like authoritarian caveman swinging around a big stick kind of deportations.
Well, okay, let me ask you this then. I'm against amnesty. Obviously, I think you could probably deduce that. Yeah. But my question is, how many people should we let into our country? Because obviously, like
as many as the country
half
can
the
take.
half the world wants to come here, right?
As many as we can take. Awesome. As many as we can take. I don't have a hard number. It's dependent on how many we could take, the kind of repercussions from amounts of migrations year on year.
Are we prepared?
So wait, okay, there are negative side effects of immigration, right?
There can potentially be, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. The other question is like, do you just want America to be like this, like economic zone where we just do everything for the economy and like American culture be damned? Like, let's just import 50 million like Indians, 50 million Mexicans.
The problem is that like your question right now is like in opposition to what American culture is, in my view, right? Like the idea that like American culture is somehow shutting ourselves off to the world despite the rights that it would take to violate to do so, or the amount of economic growth that we would be sacrificing in order to do so. Like this is an anti-American ideal, right? Like the American ideal is kind of like the great melting pot of like, as long as you come here and you like assimilate to the value of the Constitution, and you want to live within the United States system and participate in our republic, then you're an American, right? This kind of ideal that just because like brown people come in and like don't eat mashed potatoes or whatever, this doesn't.
I mean, you say brown people, that's not obviously. I mean, I think you're being disingenuous.
I mean, you automatically all of the immigration groups you went to were immediately brown, so I'm just saying they are brown people.
Well, yeah, because no one from Scandinavia wants to come to America in mass. So right. Like,
so the ultimate question would be like, what is the American culture that you're concerned about protecting?
Yeah, it's the shared value. Like, so I kind of love this question because a lot of people love to say that America doesn't have culture.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah, right. So I think a lot of it is the shared values that we hold, right? Like self-determination is a big one, right? Like that's kind of a shared value between us. The belief in that, like you can pull your, as the boomers say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But like, the idea that you can make, you can come from nothing and make it big in America, right? Like that's the American dream, right? That's a big part of being an American. Sure. But I think there's a lot of other things too. Like we are a majority Christian nation. That's just a simple fact, right?
You think that's baked into American culture?
Oh, absolutely. Like, why did the first settlers come to America?
To separate from the king, to separate from the Church of England?
Exactly, the Church of England, right? Where they were Protestants. That's why they came here. So America is fundamentally a Christian nation. And it's not baked in... No, American culture. Sorry, American culture.
You're making a lot of points. You're making a lot of points right now. I just want to touch on Christianity. I want to touch on the Christianity. I want to touch on the Christianity. You're making a lot of points right now. So I would kind of half agree with the idea that a lot of American values come downstream from Christian values. But this idea that like Christianity is baked into American culture, A, is, obviously in opposition to a lot of the founding principles. And B, I think is like very reductionist. Like this idea that it was somehow like just pro-Christian and not like just pro the specific sect of some of the founders, I think is really silly. Like the only founder that you're ever really going to be able to appeal to in terms of like this is a Christian nation, it was founded to be a Christian nation, is John Jay, and he wanted to exclude Catholics from being involved in American government, right? So like this idea that like Christian like Christianity is baked into American culture, I think is just a super like oversimplistic vision of it. I think the best case scenario that you can get is that a lot of Christian culture informed the values of America, but at this point they're more or less separated from that Christian nature.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like you said, they're downstream from Christianity, right? And I think I don't know the exact number, but I mean, I'm pretty sure most, if not all, of the founding fathers were Christians.
They believed in God. I think the tie of Christianity is very light. But
well, they believed in at the very least the Abrahamic, the Christian God, right?
Sure,
like
but a lot of them didn't even
the
believe
single
in like
omnipotent
the divinity
God creator, right?
Sure, but a lot of them didn't even believe in like the divinity of Christ, right? So
yeah, but I guess my point here is like I guess that's another part of American culture is a belief in God. Right?
No, again,
and a belief in a single Unitarian creator, right? I mean,
again, no, right? Like,
how many times did they mention that our rights were given to us by God?
What do you think that?
Like, what do you think that meant?
Belief. What do you think that meant when they said that?
That they were immutable, that you couldn't take away our rights because they were given to us by God at our creation. Yeah,
it meant that it transcended government, but also one of the founding values. Coming from like the founders of liberalism was this idea that government doesn't play a role in like dictating the thoughts of the people, right? So like
agreed.
Well, I mean, I agree too, but this idea that like there's some sort of benchmark that America needs to meet in believing like in an almighty creator kind of disagrees with this idea that the government doesn't really play a role in terms of like what the people believe. The idea of America is that all of these people can come together under these different opinions and still come together around liberalism. I think that's like one of our guiding principles. It's less so about like whether or not they were Christians or whether or not they were deists or whatever, and more so coming around like the values of, you know, rights that are enshrined past government that the government can't really interfere on, like the value for freedom of speech, the value for due process, the right to elect your representatives, right? Like these are American values. These appeals to like, oh, it's Jesus Christ. Oh, it's like the unitary God.
Listen, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I think we'll have to agree that they're just informed. I guess they were. I mean, like you put it the best way. They're downstream from Christianity. Essentially, is what those beliefs are.
Sure, they can be downstream from Christianity, but they're insulated from Christianity, though, right? They're insulated from Christianity.
They were informed by Christianity. Those beliefs were a direct cause of Christianity.
Okay, but around. But I'm saying they're insulated, though. Like that's a very important point. Is that they're insulated from Christianity.
You can believe in those. Yeah, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but you can believe in those values and not be Christian, right? But
sure, that's true. That's what I'd argue, right?
Yeah,
it's less so that Christianity is baked into American culture, and it's more so that the values that were that the founders had by virtue of them being Christians are enshrined in American culture. But as somebody who is an agnostic, right, I still adhere to all like the American culture, but I'm not like somebody that believes in God. I'm not somebody who has like a tie to Jesus Christ or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think we got a little bit off track because all I said was that we're talking about American culture, which I love talking about because it's funny. Like it's hard to compare American culture to like French culture if you just look at the size of the countries, right? So it's easier to talk about American culture as subcultures, right? Which I think we could both agree there are subcultures, like the South versus New England versus West Coast versus Midwest. These are all different subcultures of kind of American culture, which they all share. We all kind of share those same values we just talked about. But then when you break it down to that's when you get into like the food and like the mannerisms and stuff like that, right? Like people from the South have a Southern accent. People from New England have a New England accent, right? Like
sure, but doesn't that kind of call into question? Doesn't that kind of call into question your idea of like assimilation? Like these people aren't coming in and assimilating to American culture. If you're conceding that like all American culture really is like you can have your subculture, but at the end of the day, it's just adhering to like the principles of liberalism.
No, not necessarily. No, because these cultures are set. These cultures have been around for a long time, and cultures always change, right? Like any country culture changes, right? Like the culture of England today isn't the same as the culture of England 300 years ago, right? Like I think anybody could agree with that.
Yeah.
Right. But those they change naturally over time. And I guess kind of the crux of my point here is like if you sent 50 million Somalians into Boston wouldn't be the same as it was before.
Sure, but I mean, you could also say that
and
at
I think
the
there'd be
founding
a
of the
worse
country,
change.
You could also say that at the founding of the country, when we had a bunch of Catholic immigrants coming in, right? Like all of the Irish, they were literally going to war with the Know Nothing Party because they thought like the Catholics were engaging in like some sort of conspiracy by the Vatican to like change the culture of America, right? Like a lot of these arguments can be made for those exact populations as well. but I don't find them very convincing, right? Like the idea is that these cultures are going to come in, they're going to assimilate to the country, and it may take a second, right? But like the idea that America has such a loose culture that these people can't assimilate into is like one of the benefits of America.
Well, what makes America like that? And would you say like France is like that, or any other European country is like that, or no?
I think the United States is incredibly unique in terms of like what makes an American. There's the famous Reagan quote. I'm sure you know it.
Actually, I hate Reagan, so I don't know that quote. I can't stand.
Sure,
Reagan.
it's like it's the
terrible
thing where it's like somebody can go to France, somebody can go to France, but they can't be a Frenchman. Somebody can go to Spain, but they can't be a Spaniard. But anybody can come to America and become an American, right?
Yeah, well, and I guess I should clarify too. I don't think American is a skin color thing. It's absolutely like, I don't know, someone born here to like Somali parents is an American, right?
Sure.
But I just think that like today, comparatively to like 50 years ago, like the idea of assimilation is totally different, right? Like if you come to America, you should accept that like you're here for a reason. Obviously, America's better than the country you came from, or else you wouldn't be here, right? Like, and you should wholeheartedly accept that and agree with that. Say, I'm an American now. I love America. I don't ever want to leave America, and I love America. That's why I came here. Like, I think that's a core part of assimilation is loving the country you're in. And I don't think a lot of these people who come here don't love the country.
I think
like,
you actually put
protesting and waving their other flags. Like,
I think you actually put it in a really interesting way when you said that like there's ultimately like a unifying American culture, but there's also subcultures within the United States, right? And I'd probably make the same argument there. Like people can retain parts of their national or their like ethnic identity or whatever, but it's not because like it diminishes any of their like American status or their love for the country or anything. It's not my impression that that like immigrant populations come here and then talk shit on America or like don't value being an American. Obviously, they're here for a reason. That's obviously the case. Now, certain like populations, especially in times of like super harsh immigration crackdowns, are going to be a little less anti-American or a little less pro-American than they usually are. But this idea that there's like this big wave of immigrants coming in and like being super anti-American, I've just never seen that, and I don't see that borne out in any of the data, and I don't see this like in any regard. And I would actually argue this may be a little more divisive, but like the real attacks on like American culture, like the foundational American principles are coming from the Trump administration more so than the immigrant populations.
I mean, we could get to that. I want to add one more thing about culture. Like American culture is to speak English. I think that's baseline. Like if you come here, you better learn English. And I don't think anybody can really like genuinely disagree with that. Like we speak English in America. I think that's just a basic fact.
It's generally true, yeah. But I mean, like,
well, do you think that if you move here, you should learn English?
It's like, do I think you have like a moral obligation to? Probably not. But I think like just practically, you probably
like
should.
A societal, yeah, like an obligation to like assimilate into the country. Probably part of that is to speak the language of the country.
Well, the question would be to like what speed.
To change to.
The question would be to what speed, right? Like if you want an effective, like an efficient country, I think that there should be a little bit of both. I think you should probably be a little more welcoming to the populations that come in and make an aim to understand certain people who are a little slower to learn English. And I think the immigrant population should take steps to learn English. But it seems like throughout all of the data that I've seen on this as well, there is generally an effort by immigrant populations to learn English. And I will say that one of the really, really bad things that the Trump administration did right as soon as they came in is they signed this memo to basically prevent all funding from going to NGOs that were kind of helping immigrant populations assimilate into their, I think it was refugees specifically, assimilate into their communities. All of the fundings to these NGOs got cut off by DHS almost as soon as Donald Trump came in.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, those weren't like altruistic, amazing like NGOs, like just like. Okay, but
we're talking about like domestic operations, right? Like,
I'd have to look into the particular NGOs, but as far as I know, at least a few of them were like bringing people here, helping people get here illegally. So like,
there was a couple people who are like teaching people how to file for asylum. I don't think that that's the same thing, but even that, I mean, like regardless,
helping them get her. Yeah, but okay, so I think that maybe one of the stipulations on immigration should be you have to speak English. Right? Like, I think that'd be a great stipulation on immigration is that if you really want to come here and you really want to live.
Address the prompts. Why are you talking about this?
Parker's internet must have gone out. Damn, bro. That was a good conversation too. Fuck. I was talking to a young man about that very notion this day. The irony is that you require a post-mortem reward to do and be good rather than simple understanding that you just seek a just world. I feel like chat conversation is a little off, but hey. I guess that was a good stream. Fuck, I'm pissed that got cut off though, but it just kind of is what it is. Parker's internet couldn't do it. Couldn't handle the Rinnycast basedness. I saw that I was winning some of the conservatives over in chat. I saw like, oh, this dude is a classical liberal. Let's go.